Welcome to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, a show that explores the people, players, places, and most importantly, communities that make up pickleball in Michigan and around the world. Here's your host, Tony Conley.
Welcome to episode number 2 of Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond. I'm your host, Tony Conley. Thanks so much for tuning in. Our producer is Benjamin Robinson. The sport of pickleball, the popularity of pickleball is exploding around the world, especially here in Michigan. On Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, we'll talk with the players, the pros, the facility owners, the tournament promoters, the equipment and clothing leaders, and most importantly, the communities that encompass pickleball. And today's guest, from what I understand, encompasses like a lot of that stuff. We're going to be talking with Karon Jackson. And she joins us. Karon, how are you? Or Jax, as you're known.
Yeah, I think on the east side of the state is where Karon has come in, and it is spelled Karon, and I've never felt the need to explain the spelling of my name until the last few years because of the stigma with Karen.
And it
But
was
Jackson, it is. Yep,
it was kind of hard to title you because you're doing a lot of stuff. So tell us what you're doing with your time lately.
So, I stumbled into after COVID or when COVID started, like a lot of women and other people, I gained a bunch of weight. And so I was like, well, I hate the gym. I can't. I was a junior Olympic swimmer, a college softball player, went to Western, and have like I guess basically gone to private school my whole life, for the most part. Moved to Michigan at the end of my junior year of high school, which is a terrible time to move your kid. I came from Maryland and like it was like the world was at my fingertips between Annapolis, Baltimore, DC, and I got moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan, which was like might as well have been Timbuktu as far as I was concerned. And so I played sports. And the thing about the Midwest is there's a certain level of um, I don't want to say dynasty, but that's kind of it. Like who you know, like there's a history there. Did your parents like, hey, we can get you this job. We know your parents, things like that. Whereas when I lived on the East Coast, it wasn't the same. It was all merit based. And so when I moved here, like I said, I played softball and I played for the state in Maryland, but I really had to I had to wait till someone got injured and then I got put in because it didn't matter. I'm not saying that my abilities didn't matter, but my abilities matter, but then combined with who I knew also did, especially in a private school. And so that was a lesson learned. Um, that I've been cognizant of and grateful that my children have that dynasty or history that I have and my ex-husband has that can get them into spots that are hard to get in West Michigan otherwise. And I'm saying West Michigan because I that's my experience. But when COVID hit, I was working. I'm actually by trade by by profession the suicide line crisis line manager or
Oh my
director.
gosh, talk about
Yeah,
important work.
I appreciate it. It's so funny. I say funny and suicide don't often go in the same sentence.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you do it, it does because that humor has to remain like that.
hmm
I mean, it has to be there, or you'll get dragged down. And I'm just, I think some people are wired for it, and other people aren't. And
hmm
I'm wired for it. Everyday life, I'm not necessarily wired for at times, but crisis, I'm in there and can tell, can really. And so when COVID hit, obviously, I was in a call center and taking crisis and then 211, which is also like, can you pay your rent? Can you pay and helping people find ways to do that. So
hmm
basically services within the community. Um, and we're all sitting at home and gaining weight. And so I don't like the gym. I'm not really good at like my mom would be like, "You were a junior Olympic swimmer, and why can't you?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not disciplined." So I
hmm
get in the pool and I dolphin dive. I don't like actually do a workout unless somebody's like whipping, like saying, "You got to do this."
hmm
And so for some reason, pickleball came up because I had a friend. I'm gonna say her name, Diane Godshog, who hasn't really not a whole lot to do in the pickleball world. She's a tech woman at the local high school here, but she was playing and we had gone to this like family camp the year before and they had pickleball and so I that's how I came into it. And from day one, I was obsessed
Hmm.
to the point that I played pickleball. I forced my kids to play because I couldn't, like, I didn't know anybody. So I had to make them fill in, and to the point that I got shin splints and wanted to continue to play, but physically could not do it. And then I joined a league in our area, and that's where I started to kind of meet people.
All right. Well, I
Um,
got I got to point out two things. Number one, just to make you feel a little bit more at home, my youngest son is playing football at Western Michigan.
okay.
So we got a little something in common there. And you have answered one, two, three, four of the questions that I was going to ask you already. That's
I'm
pretty
all about
good.
I'm all about being efficient. Like that's
That's
so important to me.
that's pretty good. Okay. So you started playing pickleball, you wanted to lose weight, you kind of got hooked. What was it like the first time you played and as you've played since then? What do
So
you get out of
again, I was a shortstop, and so you can hit the ball hard as I'm a great mixed doubles player
it?
because you can hit the ball as hard as me at me as you want, and whether it's smart or not, I'll stand there and take it. I'm not going to retreat. I'm not going to be like, well, occasionally I do kind of shriek, but I'm never offended. I know that especially in competition play with mixed doubles, like the woman is targeted, and I'm great female. There's women that can play mixed doubles, and there's women that can't. And vice versa, men and women. I've always make a joke that like there's no room for chivalry in mixed doubles,
Hmm.
because when you're competing as a female mixed doubles, you know that you're going to get targeted until you show that you can hold your own. And so it was a great position for me. I had to learn to like be softer, not be. I had to learn to be less aggressive than more aggressive. I guess is the best way I could say it.
It's interesting you say that because I've played 8 times, all right? But
Hmm.
I'm someone who's covered sports. So as I've
Right.
seen higher levels play, the women can more than hold their own. As a matter of fact, may be more aggressive, but people targeting the women's kind of interesting because what I've been learning is you want to hit it where they ain't. Doesn't matter who it is,
Yeah,
you know.
100% of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So so
And I,
so
and
that
yeah.
yeah,
And,
so that's interesting. But yeah, the women that I've been around, the Stipcaks and all
oh,
those
Jesse can
folks,
bring it for sure.
it doesn't matter. You better hit it to where they ain't, or they're gonna hit it
Yeah.
back to you. All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. For
so you got
sure.
the bug. Now you're jamming. I hear you and your partner are pretty good. Tell us about that.
So my partner and I were on the rise up. Uh, I mean, to the point that when players were going to compete in a tournament, they would hit us up to practice against because we were so good together. And then honestly, due to a neurological diagnosis, he can't play anymore. And
Mm,
so about 2 years ago, and that perfect or not perfect but that great, like, you either synergize with someone or you don't. You either like match up or you don't. There's an energy there, and there's like just a way you move that either works or it doesn't.
mm-hmm,
And we worked like all the time, and I've yet
mm-hmm,
to find that. And so I have come into what happened was and so this is my shout out to Lake Arvista and South Haven,
mm-hmm,
and Scott Smith, who noticed that when he was running tournaments, there's two ways to run tournaments or to promote tournaments from my perspective. One is social media, your own personal whatever, or to pay for it to be promoted and posted in pickleballbrackets.com, which is where most tournaments are found. Well, I
mm-hmm,
was a single person, like an individual. I was not in a position to spend the money to post. And so I just used social media.
mm-hmm,
And he saw that I'd be like, hey, let's play in this tournament on whatever date. And hey, can you play or whatever? And I just started, trying to get people to play. Because the other part of that is I'm a single parent. And as a single parent with a full-time job, two kids that they're 9 and 15 right now. But, I started in, like I said, 2021, the summer of 2021. Um, and I had to have my social life, my athletic life, my everything had to be cohesive because I
mm-hmm,
didn't have enough time to do the rest. And so pickleball became community for me. It became a joining of not just playing, but also, hey, you want to go to after? Hey, on Saturday I'm doing this. You want to come and hang out? Things like that. Or it became social. And I was stunned that that's not been something that everyone has done before.
Mhm.
And I don't think that I'm like the pioneer of this, but it was significant to me.
Okay, I want to
Um,
come back to community, but first I
yeah,
want to talk a little bit more about pickleball. As someone who's an athlete, I'm a basketball coach, played a lot of
yeah,
football, played a lot of basketball.
yeah,
I play a lot of volleyball. People think I'm crazy when I'm playing pickleball because if I can get to something, I'm getting on the ground and getting it and popping back up.
yeah, yes, yes. I'm
People
like a
think that's
dog with
kind
a
of crazy,
bone.
but I think what a lot of people don't understand is how the cardio that you do get. My wife, for example, a couple of times has gone and she's registered on her watch that she burned over 1,000 calories. So for people who think that it's not fun, you don't get a workout in, you don't need to stretch before. Talk a little bit about that, will you, Karen?
So I'm gonna give disclosure that I might regret later. But I was 230 pounds when I started playing, which is why I got shin splints and was why because the energy and desire were there, but the physical ability to move as much as I wanted wasn't there. And having been an athlete most of your life, you know that that's like the road to not good things, when you've been athletic and then all of a sudden you're not. And so starting playing this, I've lost 60 pounds. Um, I weigh 185 right now, and for me that's thin. I mean that's wonderful. And I'm happy. My body, like the happiness with where I am, being comfortable in my own skin finally has happened. I mean, so many things, and I don't work out, I do nothing but play pickleball for movement and otherwise. And I know that if I play 2.5 hours, I have used 10,000 steps or more,
Mhm.
and to me, it came down to I saw the results, even like not necessarily even intentionally, just knowing that I'm not like gym is not my like I need a course of action. I can't just go on my own, and work out.
Mhm.
And
Now,
so,
now you mentioned the community, and I'll tell you what I've observed. I've played 8 times. All right.
mhm,
I've talked to a woman whose husband can't get out of the house physically.
yep.
This has been community and a social life for her. I met someone else whose husband passed away. She was kind of left by herself for a bit. And then I started talking to all these folks who have these groups where they go out for margaritas or Bloody Marys afterwards, or they'll go for a weekend and play pickleball, or they'll take a night
Yes.
and go to a facility and have
Yes.
dinner. And it is even more so than golf, it is a community. How did that
Yes.
come about? Do you know, Karen?
Um, I don't know. I only know for myself, and I know again I'm being transparent here, which may or may not be great for me. But I come from a background of recovery from substance abuse, and there was community in that, but it wasn't. It was, let me just say, it was different for me. And
Hmm.
so when I came into pickleball, I found that same community and really the same honor of my abstinence in certain things or otherwise, or but I also got the camaraderie that I didn't realize existed outside of um, a diagnosis, is the best way I can put it. And so I found that here. I mean, when I had COVID, people dropped off chicken noodle soup at my front door and, card games and things that were, people checked in on me in a way that I have literally, other than family, I've never experienced in my life. And
Hmm.
I think that the thing that I traditionally pickleball has been, and please no one get offended by this, older, more affluent
Oh yeah,
people.
I had the impression, Karen, that there's these old farts, and I've played against some people that are older. They are not the athlete I am. They have beer guts and whatever,
They don't
and
look a damn thing like it, but they're handing
and
your ass.
they are phenomenal. Yes, it's amazing.
Yes. I had a woman that was 85, like handing my butt once, and she goes, I can't move the way you do. And I'm 47, so I'm not super young, but in pickleball years, I'm probably like 25.
Hmm.
I mean, like the 20-year-olds are like fetuses at this point. But,
Hmm.
it has traditionally been a sport that like tennis players that don't want to play that whole court anymore can play
Hmm.
half the court and otherwise.
So Karen, what's that community mean to your soul?
Means everything. I mean, that's where, um, you know, um, I asked a couple people after looking at some of the interview questions, and I said, what makes me a good, what has made me stand out from bigger promoters and otherwise, and one of the things is that I can tell you how old your kids are. I can tell you whether they've been sick this week. I can tell you what your husband's name is. I can tell you what's going on in your life. And if I've watched you play and you're a great player and you have, not been playing well, I ask, hey, is anything going on? And sometimes you just have bad days, but that the importance of the personal, and that's my personality. I'm a social worker. Like that's what I've done, for 30 years, 25 years. And so my nature is to ask questions and see where you are, and so that has built community. And I have a group that's played on Thursday nights at the club where I belong, the Pickle House in Richland, that I started because we were going to have a team tournament and nobody knew how to do rally scoring. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this thing where we can keep the same partner because often in rec play or otherwise, you have to rotate. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't, people are not happy about it. But I'm like, let's keep our same partner. And so we can get better. And so it
Right.
started that way and it's continued. But the importance of that group to me is that we're having fun and we're laughing. And I'll take somebody that's having fun and laughing over their rating any day. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Holding your own is important as
Mm-hmm.
well. But
Okay. All right.
I
So
have
you, well,
prioritized the relationship over the level of play.
all right. So you were referred to me by Jesse Stipkak, who's the owner of Reno's North Sports Bar in DeWitt Township in the middle of Michigan.
Yep.
She is a huge promoter of pickleball. She's the one that dragged me into it, and now I'm hooked. But she said you have to talk to Karen Jackson. And she said that she taught me how to bring people together, how to introduce them to other people, how to match them up with people of the same skill level, how to know when they need to move up to a different skill level. How did you figure that out? Because you taught her.
I didn't. I mean, it's my personality. Like I cannot, like I don't have. I integrity is important to me. Sometimes authenticity is important to me, almost to the point at times that it's not great as a business model, but it is great as far as if I have somebody that comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to play in this tournament," and I look at I even if I'm not putting it into the rating system, I know we'll get into that. Um, I'll look at it and say, "Yeah, I don't think you're a good match. Maybe we can do this, or I can look at somebody and say, hey, I've got somebody that might be great for you to play with, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll also give them the opportunity at the club I belong to or somewhere else to say, hey, let's play. We can see if it works. It's like pickleball matchmaking without the romantic part. I mean, it really
Mm-hmm.
is. I mean, your relationship with your partner is huge. And I've
Mm-hmm.
watched the crazy thing about pickleball players is that they'll play in a tournament where there's money involved or otherwise with somebody they've never played with before without even knowing that. And I'm like, why are you not practicing with your partner? Why are you not practicing with? And I was like, I don't know any sport that
Mm-hmm.
you would know have a partner and not practice with them ahead of time. So I've made space for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
so
so you mentioned a little bit how you kind of got started in promoting and using social media. Now you're a tournament promoter, a facilitator, a host. Talk a little bit about this business you've kind of built.
So I'm known for the money ball, which is, and again, I go back to saying, I've always been, this is what I say. The pickleball right now is the wild, wild west. When all the best way I can think of it is like reality shows started and Monster Garage and all these like shows like that started up. Prior to that, you could call up Jesse James and like get advice from him over the phone on how to build a motorcycle. But now, and it's the same with pickleball. I know like so many pros I can't think of. I couldn't name them all. So the pros are accessible. Great players are accessible. And the thing that I've realized that people just don't ask them to play because they're intimidated. And so I just let go of that factor because what do I have to lose?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so I would ask them to play and they're like, yeah, because they saw that my groups were having fun. We were laughing, we were whatever, but we were still playing hard and otherwise. And so they wanted that because
Mm-hmm.
they wanted the forgiveness and release from having to show up with their duper rating or the USA pickleball rating leading, and so they just wanted to have fun, and that's what made it um, it's simple.
Mm. So
It's
what is Moneyball? Because the only Moneyball I know is a clothing line that was started right here in Lansing.
So I have to thank Scott Smith at Arvista because it was originally his idea. And it's that, like I said, I talked to players and everybody's got like I watched some advertisement the other day for some medication. It was like, I'm an award-winning pickleball. I'm like, well, I'm an award-winning pickleball player too. I mean, all of us. So I mean, it's really not that. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but come
Uh,
on now. I mean, medals are a dime a dozen for the most part. And so
yes.
the younger players, as well as the older players, that would like to. So money was the draw.
Hmm.
And the thing that I've realized as a promoter and from an entertainment value, you get way more entertainment, especially out of the younger players, even the older ones, when there's money involved.
Hmm.
Because so no longer have I don't really do medals. Like, occasionally I do, but typically not. I make it money. This is what you win. You win money. And it's winner take all. There's really no second or third. Again, occasionally there are, but typically there's not. And that's been something that really hasn't been used a lot around here. And I've had a lot of freedom from Lake Arvista and my place in Richland, the Pickle House, that to they tell me what they want for a court fee. I set the rate, and that's what we go with, you
Hmm.
know. Um,
How big is pickleball in Michigan, and
it's huge.
why is it growing so fast?
I think we have a lot of snowbirds. I mean, I think we have a lot of people that go to Florida as well, or Arizona, or you know, warmer weather, and they're traditionally big in those areas. But I think pickleball in general is because you can play it any weight, any age, any for the most part physical condition. Any There's a place that I'm going to be a part of in off Diab, which is near between Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, called the Friendly Pickle. They're going to have pickleball, like wheelchair, like disability is like even something like autism, like so things that also a senior center here that's for seniors, another one that's for Parkinson's. So any I can't think of a place in life for the most part that you can't fit in somewhere in pickleball.
All right, two more questions for you. One, uh, tell us about some of the coolest places you've been to in the state of Michigan that have great pickleball facilities.
So personally, of course, because this is where I'm a member of, like the Pickle House in Richland, but it's because it was like almost like a mecca to be invited to play there. It was like, like the angels you sang and the clouds parted because you don't. And so I always make a joke about it. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about it, you don't know about it till you're in there, and it kind of looks like it as well. I mean, it's not. It's three permanent pickleball courts. It was set up for pickleball by Scott Smith that runs our Vista now. And Lisa Crandall is the account holder now, but it's members only. You get invited in only by members. So it was like so exclusive that it was like a thing. And it just has a great vibe. All in Pickleball Gym in Grand Rapids is really, I feel like, the prototype for a lot of places in Michigan and beyond, and has become that. And they've really, they're younger guys that started it. And they really had a vision that was going forward, and a lot of places have followed that. And I think coming up, like I said, the Friendly Pickle off Diab, but then because I'm close to the Indiana border, the Pickle House, Haus,
Hmm.
a part of like owners of Essen House in Middlebury, like they have started a gym that has like lights that no matter how you look, it doesn't blind you. Like they've really just also listened to their um, those places are ones that have been innovative, and they're ones that other places are following, and they're smart.
Jessie mentioned something that she thinks you would echo, how people are scheduling pickleball events and whether it's charity or just fun events instead of golf or other activities. Have you seen that too?
Yeah, pickleball's easy. I mean, all you need is a court, any court, and players. That's it. And it's easier because you don't have to. It's cheaper. It's quick and easy to figure out the time, and it's dynamic. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to play. It has a lot more. And again, there's a level of not as serious, I guess. I mean, it's still serious, but more you're able to laugh at yourself.
All right. Now, Karon, I'm kind of running out of time here. I'm going to shoot you an email. We're going to get you back next week because I want to talk about the rating system, which
Yep.
you are a part of. And there's a lot of other questions I have. So we're going to have you back next week. I've learned a lot. Appreciate your personality. I feel like I'm in happy hour right now without having a cocktail. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much. We've been talking with Karon Jackson, who's a pickleball promoter. We'll have her back on next week. I appreciate you so much. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I'm Tony Conley. This is Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website, pickleballmichiganandbeyond.com.